help me welcome Justin.
First, I'd like to thank Mr. Snyder for rejecting my hot dog story and making me write a legit one. Then I'd like to thank Kevin Liu, Andy, Nathan, Sean, Alex, David, and Melody, and Jasper, and Edward for being there. The first time I went to Dr. Lee was when I was 6 years old. I did not know anything except for the answer keys on the back of the packet. I also knew how to add 500 points to my point sheet every day. However, when I went home, I made a big mistake. I told my parents that I got all of the answers by looking at the answer keys at the back of the packets. They grounded me, told Dr. Lee about my actions, and even gave me a new point sheet. I was surprised when my mother told me that she had to pay almost $1,000 for one session. I felt bad. I felt horrible. I thought that one session was worth $10. So for the rest of my days at Dr. Lee, my dad would make me show all my work on math problems, especially if it was a question like 7 plus 3. As a result, even to this day, I know not to waste money, unless it's for candy or something. So make sure that every single one of you take care of your precious money, unless you want to go broke. Thank you all for coming. It's been
Okay, can I have your attention, please? Now, we have another speaker named Sean, who will be speaking to you about walls. Please help me welcome Sean.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming here and staying alive for however many years old you are. So, today, have you ever, walls, a simple subject, and it's around you everywhere. You just feel like it's just there, a necessity or normality of life. However, they're intricate machines. Well, not really machines, but things. They hold up buildings that allow you to be here, standing here, give your speech if you did today. They hold up the ceiling so it doesn't crash on you, makes you die. Walls are also can be covered with wallpaper. Makes it look pretty instead of all these white, simple, brown things. Blocks, giant blocks. The walls can also add windows to let you see what's outside. But there's also walls to let you see what's not there. And you can't see through walls. Unless they're glass, but those are windows. Walls, things can also be attached to walls, like doors, let you go in and out. You can't really run through a wall and run back. Exit signs let you know where the doors are. And lights, well, lights aren't ceiling, but those lights, those emergency lights, and the fire alarm to let you know when a fire is occurring, so that you don't burn up in ashes. Not very fun. And walls also make structures look from the outside really pretty, like red brick walls instead of, I don't know, whatever color, black wooden charred wood walls. And walls also connect to floors and connect to ceilings, and therefore they don't topple over on you, which is also very dangerous. So, walls are not also building materials. They can be used as weapons if you manage to do it right. And they are still a normality of life. So, if you want to, leave the wall as it is. Thank you.
May I have your attention, please? Thank you for coming, and please give a round of applause for Nick Casentano, who will be speaking to you about Thomas Jefferson.
Thank you for all coming here today. One of the most important people in history was the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. He was the author of the Declaration of Independence that stated that we were free of British rule. Thomas Jefferson was very interesting. First, did you know that he was in a lot of debt his whole life? Or did you know that during the Revolutionary War, the British invaded his home in Monticello and stayed in the dome of his house? He was so much in debt that he sold his books to the Library of Congress. Did you know that Thomas Jefferson said that he did not like having slaves, but he had around 50 to 100 slaves? Also, Thomas Jefferson was the president when the Lewis and Clark expedition began and ended. He brought the Louisiana Purchase from France, and he was the vice president of the United States for John Adams. In the lobby of his house, there is a clock that can tell the time of day, and it can tell the day by using weighted metal balls. His bed was super creative. It was an alcove bed between his office and his bedroom. He could wake up in either room. I wondered what would happen if he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Get it? He was also Secretary of State for George Washington. And he also was so famous that his face and his house were on the nickel. Thank you for taking your time here.
Stand your attention, please. Up next, we have Darren Chang, who will be talking to us about Spinosaurus. Please help me welcome Darren.
It's a great honor to be here today to speak to you about the Spinosaurus. The Spinosaurus is the biggest of all carnivorous dinosaurs, larger than the Tyrannosaurus and the Gigantosaurus. It lived during the middle of the Cretaceous period, about 112 to 97 million years ago, roaming the swamps of North Africa. Spinosaurus means spine lizard, an appropriate name as the dinosaur had very long spines growing on its back to form what is referred as a sail. The spines were more than 10 times the diameter of the vertebrae structures from which they extended and were slightly longer from the front to the back at the base than higher up. The distinctive spines were about 5.4 feet or 1.65 meters long and were likely to have been connected by skin. The spines were connected by tissues. The structure may have also been more of a large hump than a sail. There has been much scientific debate regarding the evolution and the purpose of the Spinosaurus sail. It is possible that the sail served multiple purposes, including regulating body temperature by absorbing heat and attracting mates. Because of its size, the Spinosaurus did not have many predators, but the spine could have been used to ward off enemies, as the dinosaur appeared to be twice its size when the sail was fully extended. The Spinosaurus' upper spine was fairly flexible, and its vertebrae had ball and socket joints, so it was likely to be able to arch its back to a point and may have been able to spread the sail when threatened or looking to attract a mate. It is believed that Spinosaurus walked on two muscular legs most of the time, although it may have moved on all fours based on the length of the arms and the fossil tracks. Spinosaurus had a long and narrow snout at the end of its skull. It had 6 or 7 needle-like teeth on each side of the very front of the upper jaw and 12 behind them. There were a few large teeth at the end of its snout. While its jaw was powerful, none of the teeth were serrated, making it unlikely that it could have been used to tear into tough prey. This gives credence to the theory that it mostly survived on fish and carcasses. The Spinosaurus was a very interesting and odd creature. Thank you for your time.
Our next speaker is Aaron May, who will be talking about genetically modified organisms.
It's a great honor to be speaking to you all, and this is just my opinion, and you guys may think different. Genetically modified organisms, also known as GMOs, have altered the crop that has been commonly grown by farmers. Now there's a new kind of technology called genetic modification that affects the foods that we eat every day. there is an argument around scientists that states if we should use genetically modified organisms inside our foods or not. I think GMOs should be used in our foods that we eat today, since the benefits of GMO, according to me, are far outweighs the bad things about it. One bad thing about GMO is that it may cause organ damage, immune system disorders, accelerated aging, and infertility. But still on the good side of GMO, it can solve the problem that has scattered the globe for a long time, world hunger. And what I told you earlier about all those diseases haven't been 100% confirmed and are only possibilities that can happen to you. And those things can rarely happen if they even are real. The solution to world hunger would be a big impact on the planet because there are a lot of people out there who don't have food and are dying of hunger every day. And thanks to the modern technology, genetic modification, it may be solved because they have the new quote, golden rice that gives you more vitamins inside of the food. And also, genetically modified organisms can also make the food taste better and can grow more of the food and can have an herbicide and pesticide resistance, or have a natural herbicide. Well, some claims are that organic farmers have told that GMO farmers that GMOs have caused quote super weeds or herbicide resistant weeds, but they should really tell that to the farmers who 1 year sprayed 383 million pounds of herbicides on other kinds of crops. Overuse of the Roundup resulted in superweed probably more than GMO. And this is causing farmers to use more toxic herbicide, which is not very environmental friendly every year, which is bad. And even though GMOs take a part of superweed, it's still mostly human overdose of herbicides on the plants. Since there are weeds that will destroy the crops, we should keep what we already have, since farmers still have to use more and more toxic herbicide each year since the super weeds are spreading. And also, GMOs can use less pesticide and herbicide because it can have a natural pesticide, and which will help you use less toxic herbicides made by humans. USDA also reports on potatoes, squash, tomatoes, and other crops continues in a similar manner to provide resistant to diseases, like the problem where there's a potato blight, where in one place where it caused the potatoes to die and a bunch of people died of hunger. And since the good things about GMO farly outweighs the bad thing, then I think GMOs should be used in crops, and also about the thing that can solve world hunger. Thank you for listening to my